Hello and welcome back to another Walking Dead video. And today we talk about the end of The Walking Dead and trying to explain what does the ending really mean, because there's a lot going on at the end of The Walking Dead. The show ends with the return of Rick Grimes and Michonne in a small 5-minute clip that is there to set up the future of the franchise and the Rick and Michonne show. So what happens in the small clip is we see where both characters are currently at, and we see at the start of this clip both characters are writing letters, but Michonne's writing to her kids, and Rick is writing more or less to anybody out there to tell people that he is alive. And this then definitely shows our characters at different time periods. At the start of the scene, it makes it look like that both characters are at the same fire. However, we soon realise they're at very different fires. Michonne has been a couple months since she left from season 10, and she's got new armour, she's got new gear, and she's still looking for Rick. However, at the Rick side, we see that Rick has his boots still. We see he has the phone still. So this is taking place way before Michonne, and we follow Rick on one of his escape attempts from the CRM. The scene ends with Rick being caught by the CRM again and throwing his bag full of his boots and his phone onto the boat, which will eventually end up on Virgil's Island where Michonne will find it. Michonne's plot ends with her covered in samurai gear with a horse covered in armour charging towards what looks like a massive herd of walkers. So what really does this mean? That's the ending of the show. What does it mean? Well, this shows us a lot. Okay, we can definitely see here that there are two timelines, and I definitely believe this two timeline thing we're seeing at the end of this episode is definitely kind of set up to show what the Rick and Michonne show will be like. We'll have a timeline of Michonne looking for Rick, and we'll have a timeline of Rick trying to escape, and by the end of the season, those timelines will meet up. That's what I definitely think this is showing us. We're going to get a multiple timeline show in the Rick and Michonne show. We also find out where Rick has been this entire time. He has been in Philadelphia, because that's the Philadelphian skyline that Rick is facing at the beach. And we know what Rick has been doing at the CRM. He's been trying to escape, and he's done something where it's been multiple cases. He's tried to escape multiple times. He probably had a bigger job, because we knew from Well Beyond, Jay said Rick Grimes was basically a valuable asset to the CRM. So Rick must have done something really good for the CRM when he came in, or after this scene, and I think it's before, because what Rick is doing is not really valuable. And we know what Rick is doing because Rick is wearing the same type of jacket that Xylus wore in World Beyond, and he's using the same weapon. So we know what Rick was doing before he escaped. He was working at a facility which whole purpose was to distract walkers and kill them. That isn't very valuable. So knowing the knowledge we know from Jadis, Rick obviously has had multiple escape attempts. He's done something valuable for the CRM. And then he's escaped so much, they punished him and gave him this kind of low, kind of punishment job, which is you're going to go kill walkers at basically a slave labour camp almost. So I definitely think this ending is showing us that Rick is important, because why would the CRM go out their way to get somebody that small? We saw in World Beyond that when Xylus went missing, they didn't really care. So Rick must be special to the CRM. Even though he has a job like that, he provides something that the CRM needs. And I definitely think they could be going down the route, and this ending is teasing that maybe the CRM need Rick Grimes because he has some sort of immunity, or he's got something like that, because they wouldn't just go after somebody and keep him alive time after time if they're doing a job that Rick is doing. This ending is definitely teasing out Rick is important enough that he can run away, be punished, and run away again, and they'll bring him back over and over again. The CRM ain't like that. There's something special about Rick. Also to mention, during this ending, the CRM pilot, or whoever's in the helicopter, knows Rick by name. And with Rick being just a small worker, that isn't normal. Maybe he's just a very defiant worker and the warden's like, okay, I know you now because you run away every weekend. However, I think this is definitely more than just a warden, because of what the helicopter person says is that, remember what he said, you can't run away from the living, and that is definitely a reference to the next big bad of the Walking Dead franchise, and especially the Rick Grimes show. It is going to be General Beale, and if Rick is important enough to admit General Beale, this further proves the fact that Rick has something the CRM needs, i.e. he might have an immunity or have some sort of resistance to the Walker virus, or a certain thing, like maybe he's just a resistance to the common cold or something. It's something like that. Rick is important enough that the CRM will go out their way to go get this runaway over and over again, even though he has such a very unimportant job within the CRM. And that is really the entirety of the end credit scene, just to set up the Rick and Michonne show, to set up where our characters at. When the Rick and Michonne show starts, we know our characters will be and what threats they'll be facing the CRM. Michonne will be trying to find Rick, and Rick will be trying to fight the CRM, and General Beale on the CRM will definitely be trying to take something from Rick. Maybe it's his blood. I definitely believe they are teasing out Rick having something special about him. But please tell me your thoughts and opinions down below. What did you think about this ending? Do you agree with me that there is something going on here that is special about Rick? Or do you think it's just the CRM just don't want him to run away because he knows where they are or something like that? I definitely think something special about Rick. Even though he has a job like Xylus, CRM definitely want Rick because he has something that they provide to the CRM. Please tell me your thoughts and opinions, anything down below. And if you want more Walking Dead content, please look on the screen. If you want my final review, please look in the top right. If you want my latest video, top left. And if you want something recommended for you, look in the middle. But this is it for me today, so make sure to subscribe to the channel. And even like to help out that channel, keep up to date with all things Walking Dead. 2 videos a week, every week. But this is it for me today, so goodbye, peace out, and I'll talk to you at a later date.